And there came a day unlike any other, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Comics Daily from Scorcher Hill, hosted by Brian Keown and Matt Wood. From Scorcher Hill, this is Star Wars Comics Daily. I'm Matt Wood.
And I'm Brian Keown.
Wow. Whoa, somebody's good to go.
I am, man. Let's do it. I love Rogue Squadron.
Welcome to episode 139 of Star Wars Comics Daily. Star Wars Rogue Squadron number 4, The Rebel Opposition, Chapter 4. RS4 was released October 31st, 1995. Happy Halloween, Brian.
Oh, yeah, hooray. I'm going to go dressed as Princess Leia. No one will ever know.
No, everybody's going to know that you are Princess Leia, because that's all it takes.
Oh, yeah.
What did you dress up as for Halloween in 1995?
Probably nothing. I would already been out of college and stuff, so I probably didn't dress up at all.
I think that might have been a Power Ranger year.
Oof.
I know. My grandmother made me the costume of one of those like sewing kits that you get at Walmart.
Wow.
I looked like I was in like a Power Rangers pajamas or something. Because like the mask, like it wasn't like a mask with like the visor. It was like a red hoodie and like a black like bandit mask over my eyes. And it's just like
so it was like the Scarlet Spider version of the Power Rangers.
I guess it was atrocious, but you know, Granny made it, so you gotta be cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, luckily I'm old enough that I missed Power Rangers as a whole. So.
Yeah, no, you missed nothing, Brian. Brian, give me those credits.
Plotter is Michael A. Stackpole. Scripter is Mark Barron. Penciler is Alan Nunis. Inker is Andy Mashinsky. Colorist is Dave Nestel. Letterer is Steve Detro. And the cover is by Dave Dorman.
Yeah, and I got a fun story about the cover.
Okay.
So this is probably one of the first examples of a digitally altered comic book cover. Probably not, but it's definitely an early example as far as I've ever heard of. On the Wikipedia page, it reads, Dave Dorman's original painting for the cover of this particular issue depicted Tycho wearing a TIE fighter pilot's uniform rather than the uniform of an Imperial officer because of an editorial mishap resulted in Dorman receiving the incorrect reference material for the cover. The mistake was discovered only after Dorman had submitted his work for approval, and this resulted in Dorman painting what was deemed to be the correct depiction of Tycho onto a separate board and then digitally incorporating it into the original painting. And they have on Wikipedia the original, the prelim, and the finished product. And I will share both of those. But I thought that was kind of interesting because, as you see, you got Tycho here in the foreground. And so, yeah, like...
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing happened a lot. I mean, I don't know a lot, but I mean, I've seen stuff like that. But usually they'll use like a piece of vellum or something to actually draw over it, and then they'll just,
Yeah.
However they... I mean, obviously they didn't scan it, but however they photocopied or however they got covers to be to copy,
sure,
they would just merge the two pieces and cover up the thing. But yeah,
but this one, digitally. This one's digital, and I thought that was pretty. That's pretty impressive. I thought, just because, he didn't. It also showed just how much Dave Dorman was pulling in if he could start doing digital stuff, because that probably wasn't very cheap.
Yeah,
and I have to imagine that Dave Dorman was making a pretty good amount of money off of his cover work at this time.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, because he was one of the go-tos.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what happens in Star Wars Rogue Squadron number 4. And correct me if any of this is wrong, because every time I do a summary, and I only feel like I've done one summary so far. I guess that makes sense. There's 4. But I always feel like Rogue Squadron, like I'm 70% right in what I've picked up on.
Okay.
Tycho flags down an Imperial caravan and convinces them that he was a pilot shot down by X-Wings. They let him aboard, and he is united with Winter, whom the Imperials believe is Princess Leia. Winter is taken to Governor Norquist, and he has her put on a fancy dining gown. Back with the rebels, Vance shows up and is all worried, telling about how the Imperials have captured Leia. The rebels get ready to make their move, and Vance is paired with Elskul and Groznik, traveling by speeder. And I'm actually wrong about this because we'll get into it. That's just a Jeep.
Is it just a Jeep?
It's got wheels, man.
Oh, it totally does have wheels.
Yeah. He tells Elskul to head to the temple, that they need to head to the temple to pick up the Imperial deep spacesuit. He grabs it, and Groznik heads for the trees. Tycho has a nice Imperial bath. And he does.
I know he does, because it's like, what the what? Okay.
Yeah. It suits up to fly with the TIE fighters. While they are inbound, he turns on them and calls Wedge, letting him know that he is in the TIE fighter. Elskul learns that Vance is an Imperial bad boy, and he's thrown out of the speeder Jeep. The speeder crashes right after Groznik is able to scoop up Elskul and save her. Vance is not dead. He crawls towards the discarded suit that fell out of the speeder. As he goes to put it on, there is a Ronk in there, and it bites his arm off. And it most likely kills him. Meanwhile, Baron Tasky tries to get Winter onto an Imperial shuttle of the shuttle Tiderian persuasion. Groznik shows up and most likely kills him. The issue ends with the gang leaving, Kilper and Elskul and Groznik joining the rogues.
Yeah, I don't think he kills him.
I thought they said that they wanted to doesn't Wedge say something along the lines of like, oh man, he would have been an excellent decoration on a lamppost or something like that. And they're like, nah, Groznik killed him.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me see.
Trying to think. Oh, no, he says, yeah. No, Groznik killed Vance.
What?
He didn't kill Vance. Because I see this, she says, Vance is your traitor, and it's like, and Wedge says, I figured it out, and then she says, Groznik took care of him.
Oh, okay. So
I think that's what you're talking about.
So what happened to, they want to kill him, and they're like, let him go to trial. Isn't that right?
Yeah, sure.
That's stupid.
Well, this is post destruction of the Death Star 2, so I mean, you think that that's kind of what you're doing with the Imperials, catching them and putting them on trial, like, you know.
Yeah, but after, I mean, you're capturing a ton of Imperials. After a while, I have to think Mon Mothma's like, yo, if accidents happen.
Well, that's not how the Rebel Alliance works, dude. They're the good guys.
There are no good guys in positions of power, Brian.
All right.
Okay.
It's pretty dark for Star Wars. I mean, in real life, I agree with that, but for Star Wars, it's pretty dark.
Yeah. You're probably right. He probably is in prison right now.
Yeah.
Sure. How stupid are these Imperials?
Well, I mean, the way you read it is like, oh, he tricks them into thinking he's an Imperial, but he's already done that. I mean,
I get that.
They've already read him as an Imperial, so they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And I mean, he doesn't lie to them. He says, you know, I was assigned to this unit and I got shot down by an X-wing. I mean, he doesn't mention that it was his droid that did it.
I guess so. It was pretty stupid when they trusted him in the first place.
Yes.
And now they're just letting him have a conversation for a long time, apparently, with Winter. And the reason why I say it's a long time is because, first of all, Princess Leia's a healer. What does that mean?
That was like, I don't understand that. Oh, give him to the healer. Like, who's the healer? Princess Leia? What? She's a princess. She's not a nurse.
Right, exactly. Like, of all the jobs Leia has, nurse doesn't seem to be any of them. Actually, I guess Winter herself probably
actually is. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe this is just because the whole thing with Winter is Princess Leia, it all just seems predicated on the fact that she's a woman. So obviously she's a woman. There's only one woman in the rebellion, and it's Princess Leia. So obviously we call it Princess Leia. So maybe it's the same way. It's like, oh, well, she's a woman, so obviously she's a nurse because that's what women do. They're nurses. So maybe he's just a misogynistic a-hole.
They just think that Princess Leia is out there tending to every single rebel in the sickbay.
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
that crane shot in Gone with the Wind, with like just like one woman out there. I gotta take care of all these guys. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is a long time too, because remember when they're like, "Hey, you either help out this guy or you're gonna have to ride on the outside, and it's gonna be a long trip." And she's like, "Okay, I will." And so there's
Well,
like,
then,
I guess that you would think that one of them would be like, "What are they talking about?"
right? Because I was like, Tycho's like, "Yeah, man, I'll take care of her. You go sit over there." And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
talking pretty out in the open.
yeah, these are, I mean, by far not the best Imperial guys for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine that's why they're out on this cruddy planet anyway.
Well, speaking of cruddy planet, you ready to meet Governor Northfolk or whatever his stupid name is? Norquest.
Is it Norquest? I didn't even pick his name up. But yeah,
Wikipedia told me that it was him,
sure.
So I'm gonna go with it.
He's just a fat bald guy.
Do we want to talk about the Polaroid?
Who's got a Polaroid of Leia, but it's all scratchy, so he can't really tell. So yeah, sure.
I love that the picture he has. It's like, well, her head's tilting that way.
You're right.
So I guess
she doesn't even have buns in her hair, but whatever.
So I'm listening to the audiobook of Heir to the Empire because that's going to be the next series that we cover. We're going to be covering the comic book adaptation, so I wanted to, listen to the actual novel before we did that. Right. And Winter's in it quite a bit, and not once do they mention that, they swapped out. Just like it's nothing like that. I don't know.
I mean, the thing about comic books is, unless they're doing exact likenesses, it's hard to be like, if this guy drew Princess Leia, it probably would look more or less like Winter does. Just because, that's how comic books.
That's how he draws women. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, generally they don't, unless you're really good, or like I said, doing, likenesses, you're probably not, like Tycho kind of looks more or less just the same as some other blonde guy. Like Vance and Wedge look exactly the same.
Right. No, we've had that problem with this comic.
I'm literally looking a couple pages ahead, and there's a panel with Vance talking, and then Wedge is in the next panel. He looks like his head is turned the exact same way. He looks exactly the same. So
I kind of love the fact that, like, I get characters mixed up in this comic all the time, except for Winter and Princess Leia. It's never happened once.
She hasn't been in. Leia hasn't actually.
I know, but even if she was, like, if you were to show me that picture, I mean, who is that? April O'Neil? I don't know who that lady is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Primarily because, like, if you want to be mistaken for Princess Leia, have your hair done up in a dumb way.
That's what I'm saying. If she had those buns in her hair, like, okay, well, there's only one woman who wears buns in her hair.
Right, yeah. Well, that you at least have an argument. Now, their argument is just like, well, we had this terrible picture to go off of. Also, could the Imperials stop giving the Zig Heil?
No.
I guess not. This comic is... Like, I get it, they're bad guys, but boy, we're really making them literal Nazis here.
Oh, yes, this guy is real awful because he's got the little jester guy on a unicycle. Oh,
my God.
Who's only in, like, a couple shots, but it's still like, what is this guy?
And he has her put on the fancy dress, too, just like in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, exactly. In which you would think they would say, hey, you should put your hair in buns, too, so you look like Princess Leia.
Right. Even in, like, a fancy dress, like, she's wearing, like, a prom dress.
Yeah. Well, you're like, I mean, you're exactly right. It's because remember in Raiders that dress that Marion wears is some weird prom dress looking thing too.
Yeah, but man, Marion could wear whatever she wanted, dude.
Sure.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Karen Allen's a very attractive woman. For sure.
God bless. Yes, sir. What do you think of this? They don't give me what species this little alien on a unicycle is.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not listed in the cast of characters. So it's 3 panels of what?
Yeah.
That's really
I don't know. He's slightly Salacious Crummy a little bit.
Yeah.
Not really.
He looks more like something from like the Dark Crystal.
I was gonna say he definitely looks like a Muppet for sure.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I know this doesn't happen, but I like to think that when they're eating the clumsy oaf. Like they cooked him up real quick.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're doing. But yeah, this isn't definitely a Jabba move. I don't think I've seen any Imperial like I have gestures and stuff.
Well, you figure. I mean, we're at some kind of way outpost. I don't know how far out this planet is supposed to be, but it definitely feels like he's like, I'm the governor now. Now that the Empire's gone, I'll do whatever I want. Get me a jester, and I'll put epaulets on my uniform, which is not a thing in the Empire at all. And
yeah, and the shoulder things. And
give me a sash and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Do we count "May the Force guide me" as a "May the Force be with you"?
I would think not, but okay. I mean, we get him so infrequently that it feels like we almost might want to just so we can count
one next issue.
Okay.
Like in Legacy.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to not count this one.
I would say not.
Yeah. Okay. That's more than fine with me.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm not cool with is old Vance.
Yep, he is a jerk.
Boy,
I'm glad he got his arm bit off by a Ronk.
So I'm putting together that Wedge. As soon as like Vance mentioned Princess Leia, Wedge was like, he knew that Vance wasn't who he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point he puts it together that Winter is who they're talking about too. But yeah, I agree.
I like the jacket that Eskel wears.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like Star Wars jackets.
This has nothing to do with much of anything because she's in literally 2 panels. But I like that Plur apparently, as we've said in Wikipedia, she looks like just a normal human. Mm-hmm. In the other early issues, she had half her head shaved. I guess she wasn't done shaving her head before the mission went because she's totally shaved her head now.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, now she has to put a helmet on. So.
Well, she was. I mean. She was flying around an X-wing earlier.
Dude, I'm trying to go with whatever reason works.
I get you.
And that one doesn't, but it's something.
Right, I have no idea what's going on with her, but whatever. Like I said, she's barely in this comic book. Your boy Hobby's barely in it too.
That's true. Is this the first case of sunglasses in Star Wars?
I would think not, but he definitely has some sort of sunglasses on when he's driving his Jeep.
Dude, it's a straight up Jeep.
I think Jeep isn't Jeep a brand name, so probably just some sort of all-terrain vehicle.
But it has straight up tires.
It definitely does have tires.
And that seems
it's not much of a thing in Star Wars.
Weird.
Yeah.
I am a little disappointed that we didn't get to see the Deep Space Trooper suit in action.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what exactly does that thing do?
You're right. Vance seems pretty interested in it. Like it's going to save everything, but it seems like it's just going to be a big bulky thing that maybe has guns in the arms. I don't know.
Well, it ends up costing him not quite an arm and a leg, but oh god, that freaking bathtub.
This is the kind of thing where it's like, man, if you get to go just take a bath after being shot down with your X-Wing, it seems like maybe the Empire's not that bad.
Right, exactly. Like they make sure to take care of him, and he gets to like relax in like a jacuzzi.
And Wedge isn't taking no baths.
Yeah, exactly. They're stinking up the joint, throwing frisbees at Ronks and whatnot.
Yeah, he probably didn't even get to take a bath after blowing up this Death Star.
Right, both times.
Yeah. Well, he didn't do it himself the first time, dude.
I know. But he helped. He survived.
Yes. But he got the second one.
Oh, sure, yeah. Lando got the credit.
Sure. But that's what I'm saying. I bet Lando got a bath. You know that dude's taking baths all the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's a shower on the Falcon.
I bet there's at least a shower. But there's surely.
I got one of those die-cut books. And I know there's a toilet.
Yeah, that's always. I mean, obviously we don't see, but there's hardly even any quarters. I guess we saw quarters in Solo, but we never saw like where Han sleeps in the rest of the movie or in the movies, right?
He sleeps in a chair.
Right.
He
I
probably
mean,
sleeps in one of those like bunks that Chewie like laid in.
I was gonna say there's that bunk, but it doesn't seem like there's his own quarters. Although, like I said, Lando had it in Solo because he has to have a closet for all his capes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say they probably have some sort of shower. It might be like a sonic shower or something. It might not actually be water, but
sonic showers are not things in Star Wars. Quit trying to push your Star Trek on me.
I can't imagine they have like a water shower though. That'd be crazy.
That reminds me, you've watched all of Picard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my girlfriend's watching it because she likes Star Trek. They're dropping the F word and S words and everything in there.
Yep.
Is that the first time Star Trek has ever F worded it?
No, they did it in Discovery. They started in Discovery.
So CBS All Access F words are cool.
Yep.
Do people like that, or is that a thing where people are like, it's a bit weird?
It's definitely weird. Like I didn't have much of a problem with it in Discovery, but when like Starfleet officers start doing it, like there's like an admiral in Picard that starts dropping F-bombs. It's like, what? That's just too weird. Luckily, Picard never says it, but
yeah,
I think he might say the S word though.
I don't want to live to see the day that Star Wars starts dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah.
It just I don't ever want that rated R Star Wars movie. I don't ever want.
No, I don't even. No.
I don't want to. Like it just seems unnecessary. Like if Star Wars is ever not appropriate for like a 10-year-old, I know you can argue because a lot of those movies are rated PG-13, but still.
And as always, they kill tons and tons of people in the cartoons.
Yeah, but they do it in ways where you're not like, duh, you know, like this Ronk bite is graphic. You would not see that in.
I don't know. I just watched the Clone Wars episodes with General Krell or whatever. You know, the guy who wants to kill all the clones.
That is a great series.
And they execute him, and then they show him, they shoot him in the back, and he dies. And there's there's just a hole in him, but
that one is dark. But yeah, it's not a bloody stump.
Right, that's true.
I like how the Ronk works like a Pokemon, where it says its name.
Yeah,
that's good.
That makes sense. That they make a sound that says it sounds like Ronk, so that's what we'll call him.
It's so big. What was it doing sleeping in that?
And how did it get? Was it in there the whole time? Were they driving around with it in their Jeep, or did it crawl in there after it fell on the ground? I don't know. But whatever. It was funny because that dude got his arm chopped off.
Yeah, he did. He got bitten off, which was great. And that's the thing too, because he's holding it by the wrist in his mouth. Like, part of me wants him to have bitten and ripped it off. But I don't.
I mean, that seems like how much the way he's holding it is kind of have to be.
Yeah.
Is that a dismemberment? Or do we count that?
I'm counting that as a dismemberment. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, sure.
Come on. Like this is our first non-legacy dismemberment since Dark Empire.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Now we've had 7 dismemberments since then, but they've all been legacy.
Right.
Legacy don't mind. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a non-legacy dismemberment.
I want to go back for a second because there's one thing that I like when when Tycho is like, I'm in the X-Wings, don't shoot me. And Wedge is like, okay. And they shoot like a die pack at it. So they mark the TIE fighter. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Part of me was like, you don't have like something on your sensor that you can just like type in and it goes to the other guys, but whatever. They don't have Google Drive in Star Wars. Yeah,
I just like that simple idea. I wonder if that's something that they pilots actually did like in World War II type of deal or something.
I mean, how could it have been though? Like pilots weren't Wedge Antilles good back in those days. like that's one of the things I always.
And how often did that actually happen where you would actually steal like a German fighter and
Right. Yeah.
that's like stuff that happens in movies.
Yeah, being like you look at like an ace pilot, during like war times, like World War II. It's like how many people did they shoot down? 6.
Right.
Yeah, it's always like a real modest number, and like knowing that scene in The Force Awakens when they're on Takodana and like the X-Wing show up. And like, there's that one scene where like Finn's like, that's one hell of a pilot. Because like Poe shoots down like 13 ships, like one right after the other. And for me, I'm like, okay, it's a bit much, but whatever.
He was one hell of a pilot, dude.
I guess so, but he literally in one scene shoots down like the same number that Han shoots down in like all of Star Wars. It's a bit much, but whatever.
Yeah, like I said, it's a movie.
I know.
Like I said, I would be willing to bet that somebody who actually like steals an enemy pilot or an enemy ship and like flies it back to the other guys probably almost never happened.
Yeah. Oh no, there's no way. That'd be too cool. Like if that had ever happened, we would have heard about that. Like, dear listener, if you're like a World War II nut or something, and you've heard about like a pilot stealing like, we'll even take any kind of vehicle of the enemies, and like, if there's a story, please let us know, because I would like to know about that. It happens all the time in Star Wars.
Oh, I know, all kinds of fiction, sure.
Yeah, but in real wars, unfortunately, it never happens.
You would think.
Don't go sticking your hand in gigantic spaceship suits.
No.
There could
especially when you know that there's Ronks around.
Yeah, there could be a kitten in there.
And it will rip your arm off.
Yeah. Winter stays in her attractive lady's gown for the rest of the issue. I think she just likes it.
Well, and she also doesn't really have a chance to. I mean, they land and she's in the suit and then they attack. I mean, she's not going to be like, Wedge, hang on a second, let me go change into my fatigues or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like there is a bit of a amount of time, like, in these, like, last 2 pages. Like, once Baron Mustache is captured, I feel like she's got time to go put on some pants, but whatever. I'm not going to falter. If she wants to feel great wearing a nice... Yeah, go for it.
She looks good, sure.
Do you think Winter is going to show up more in this comic? I kind of hope so, right?
Yes.
Oh,
because I looked ahead.
Okay.
The next artist, what's his name? Where is it? Of course, it's on this first page. There we go. Darko Macon, I think is how you say his name. He's an amazing artist. He died real young. Like, I don't think he does much past these 4 or 5 issues of X-Wing, but
really,
he's awesome. So I was looking through it pretty hard. And
this stuff looks great.
Elskol and Grosnick stick around.
Did he ever do anything else?
He did some Grendel stuff that I know of. I'll look him up when we get to him. When we get to him.
Conversation for later, but
I think he was Croatian and he died real young. It was real tragic, and just he's a spectacular artist.
Right, that's a shame.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's a conversation when we come back. I don't really have anything else for this comic.
Elskol does join the X-Wings, though. She does join Rogue Squadron.
As she should.
Sure.
I don't know if I need Grosnick. Like, we don't have to have a Wookiee. Like, I'm going to go out. Go ahead, sorry.
You led me to believe he would die in this miniseries, or at least in our run, and he has not. So
he will die at some point. I promise you that.
Sure, but he's definitely running around. I see him in the next story arc for sure.
Swinging from like spaceship to spaceship.
No, I mean I don't think he's in it much. Well, there he is, right there, fighting some guy. So, but it looks like they're
for him to get back into space.
They definitely look like he's on Imperial ships and stuff.
At least there's that.
Yep.
All right, but that's going to be it for this issue. Make sure you join us tomorrow as we look at Star Wars Legacy, where Cade goes too far.
He does a little bit, yep.
Yeah. That's going to be tomorrow's episode. From Star Wars Comics Daily, I'm Matt Wood.
And I'm Brian Keown.
And until tomorrow, may the Force be with you.